get over here in the shade because this thing looks like cloth, but it's made from a material that makes it essentially plastic. So, I know from experience of wearing it many times that I'm going to be in a raging sweat here in about a minute. Peace and blessings to you. My name is Greg DeSelms. I'm a sworn Deputy Commissioner of Civil Ceremonies in San Jose, Santa Clara County, but I live in Napa. I was asked to speak there to give this speech today in front of about 1,000 people they were expecting, and I wanted to do it here because this is my home. And if you'll permit me, I'd like to witness a little and talk about my personal experience because I know it's a character flaw, but I'm proudly heterosexual.
No, it's okay.
And this experience since June 16th has affected me, and I wanted to tell you how. On May 15th, the night that the California Supreme Court made same-sex legal in this state, Channel 5 TV news reporter Kit Doe. Have you seen this kid?
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's like one of the best reporters they've got. Watch for this guy. He's great. Reported that Santa Clara County Clerk Recorder Gina Alcamendras feared an onslaught of both same-sex marriage applications and ceremonies in the county building's tiny wedding chapel. So she was looking for volunteers. Expecting perhaps 50 people to respond, she told me later that she had to stop taking applications at 120. About a week before lawful same-sex weddings began on June 16th, all 120 of us were sworn in the county council chambers in San Jose and the witness of cameras and local newspapers and television stations. Today, perhaps a dozen of us are left. Our schedules are rotated so that we are each in the chapel just a time or two per month, perhaps 3. In October, I was down there 5 times. Some of us in the morning, some in the afternoon, those of us that have to drive such distances all day. And when I'm there all day, I marry 17 or 18 couples, couple after couple after couple. Same sex and opposite sex, though. I mean, it's both. I can say the words in my sleep, and in fact, my wife has told me that I have. I've married well over 200 couples in the little chapel since the 16th. A bit more than a quarter of them, perhaps a third, I've lost count, actually, same-sex couples. I was there just yesterday, in fact, 16 couples. There was a no-show. I did it because, though I am a heterosexual, I am very strongly a left-wing, very progressive, lifelong Democrat who has never had a problem seeing or understanding throughout my whole life that this is a civil rights issue. And with the California Supreme Court's having opened what I somehow instinctively knew from the start would only be a small window of opportunity for same-sex couples to do lawfully what many of them tried and failed in San Francisco in 2004, I wanted to do whatever very small part I could to ensure that none of them would be turned away or delayed. As a frustrated, never quite finished law school wannabe lawyer who actually, if I can stay alive long enough, I'm 52 and I just had my first heart attack in May, a minor one. If I can stay alive long enough, I may still get my law license, we'll see. A friend of mine, who I told him, I said, you know, I'll be 60 years old by the time I finish this. He says, how old will you be if you don't do it? I knew that the Supreme Court's having carefully declared in its May 15th ruling that LGBT community is a suspect class, I knew that declaration would ensure that even if Prop 8 passed, our nation's constitutional prohibition against things ex post facto would probably make it so that those who try to invalidate the rights of, or invalidate those marriages that I and others like me had solemnized between June 16th and Election Day would probably fail. Mark my words, those same-sex marriages which we have performed these past 4.5 months will be in the vernacular until death, or divorce, do us part. So I wanted to be there, right in the thick of it, on the very first day that the law permitted us to marry same-sex couples on June 16th, and on the very last day, on November 4th, both days with the press's cameras going. On election day, with the polls telling us that Prop 8 had an uncomfortably decent chance of passage, there were so many couples trying to get in under the wire before the polls closed that there were more of them than there were time slots in the chapel. So I conducted a mass wedding at the end of the day in the county council chambers. To the bitter end, we work to ensure that any same-sex partners who wish to avail themselves of the same simple and blessed right to marry as their opposite-sex counterparts could so do. At the end of the day, all we could do was pray that Prop 8 would not pass, and that we had done all we could do if it did, and of course it did. By election night's end, I knew I had done my small part to create an unusually special class of new persons who were able to enjoy rights that others before them and behind them, interestingly, were not going to be able to enjoy, at least not until this very messy legal situation is finally resolved. As I watched the election results trickle in, the percentage of voters in favor of Prop 8 rising as the percentage of precincts reporting was rising, I realized that what we had done, as it turns out, wasn't enough.